What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm in the most beautiful spot in the world. Here is the south of France, the beautiful Côte d'Azur, and I'm here not to talk about this. We're going to talk about car, but let's just rewind a little bit. A couple weeks ago, I came to visit my home country, Poland, and me and my sister took my mom for her 80th birthday to this beautiful spot on earth. And while in France, we rented a French vehicle, something that is not available in the United States. And as always, you know, if I rent a car, I want to review it for you. So today we're going to talk about this. And here it is, guys. As you've seen, we had to move from the side of the road because there was a traffic jam. But anyways, we're here in this beautiful parking spot. Let's talk about this vehicle for a bit here. So this is a 2024 Peugeot 5008. It is a mid-size SUV, or somewhat of a large compact SUV. It's 188 inches long, so similar to like a Hyundai Santa Fe or maybe a Kia Sorento. And here's how it looks like. From the front here, it has a very nice design, in my opinion. I'm going to try to turn these lights on for you so you can see, but it has these fangs right here, and of course all LED lights. And I guess from what I read, the grille has been changed for 2024 model year. So if she can give you a close-up of it, we can probably see all this chrome, and of course the Peugeot lion or tiger or whatever animal that is, I'm not even sure. However, one thing to mention, Peugeot is one of the oldest car brands in the world. It started in 1810, but now it is under the umbrella of Stellantis. So it is the same company that manufactures Jeep, Chryslers, Rams, etc. I wonder if it ever is going to see United States. I think it had a short stay in the United States back in the 80s, and for some reason they didn't bring it back into United States. Now, I've been driving this car for about a week now, and we put, well, maybe close to about 600 kilometers or so on this vehicle. So I have a pretty good idea of what the good sides of this vehicle are and what the bad things are that I've noticed about it as well. But again, you know, going back to design, I'm going to turn the lights on for you and we'll give you a close-up of the look. And here they are. As you can see, those fangs are extending all the way down to the bottom of this vehicle. We have a little bit of the polished aluminum at the bottom, and again, some of the open spaces to allow the air to help with cooling of this very, very tiny engine. And I said tiny because this is powered up by a 1.2 liter inline 4-cylinder engine with the mild hybrid system, 48 volt mild hybrid system. The horsepower output is 136. We have an automatic transmission. I believe it's 6-speed automatic transmission. We have a very, very good gas mileage, 5.8 liter per 100 kilometers. Or if you translate it into miles per gallon, it's over 40 miles per gallon. I've been averaging 4.6 liter per 100 kilometers on our trip, and that is huge. That's about 45 miles per gallon. So, you know, this aspect of the vehicle is really, really good. The one bad part about it is even though it looks like an SUV, it is a front-wheel drive, and I don't think the option for an all-wheel drive is available. The model that I have for you is a GT, so I guess it's not the least expensive one, and I can find the exact pricing. I guess the websites are slightly bit different, but it starts at about 39,000 euros, so over $40,000. So it's not the cheapest thing out there. But let's take a look at the rest of the design. And here it is on the side. Overall, a good-looking SUV, in my opinion. Now, there's a few things that I don't care about. One of them is this chrome trim pieces that are all around the windows. I know it is to break the color up, but it kind of looks cheap to me. We also have the polished aluminum roof rails. As far as the safety features on this vehicle, we have the turn signal, blind spot assist in the mirror, and it sits on 18-inch rims. I guess it starts with 17. You can go to 19 if you wanted to. We have the dual color wheels. We have black and aluminum wheels. As far as that, all-season tires, lots of matte black cladding. Not my favorite. It serves the purpose because it protects the underbody of this vehicle, you know, if you were to scratch it up, of course. And also it is kind of like a skirt over here. If you go around here, I'm going to show you this. So this goes all the way underneath the car. So this portion of the vehicle stays clean even in the bad weather. So if you are getting inside of it and rub your pants on it, you're not gonna dirty them up. So that serves the purpose. Doesn't look the best, but hey, you know, smart entry system. So we have I have the key in my pocket. Actually, the key is in the car, that's why it's not locking, but you can lock it, unlock it by simply getting close to it. And lots of windows, big windows, so it reduces the blind spot, which is important, especially if you're driving in Europe. And then 95, 98 unleaded gasoline in American standards, that would be the premium gasoline. And as we go around the corner, again, let me turn these lights on for you. These are all LEDs. So you have the turn signals are LEDs. You have the regular lights that are LEDs. And the brake lights, of course. And the turn signals are sequential. Pretty good looking one, to be honest. And they are encased in this plastic. So if you give us a close-up, Eva, get close to this vehicle, I kind of like the styling of it. And so you have the 3 separate units. They're all LEDs. You know, of course, underneath here, 5008 Peugeot spelled out, and the logo right here. Still have the exposed wipers. Third brake light at the top. We have a little bit of protection on top of the bumper here to help you with not scratching it up. And we have the fake exhaust, kind of like Mercedes like. This part I really don't like. They kind of look horrendous too. And then let's open it up and see how much space we have on the inside here, because it is a 3-seater vehicle. Now I have the last row of seats folded down. So let's see, how do you unfold it? First of all, if you give us a close-up of it, you know, we have the cargo cover right here. So you can keep people from peeking in. However, there's one spot, if you get this, you know, there's a gap between the back seat and between this cargo cover. So even though, you know, it is protected, but there's still a lot of space where people can actually look and see what's inside of here. And then here's how you actually open up the seats. First, you need to basically unfold this, and then you lift this up, and the seat pop open. This goes behind it, and then of course it's true for the second seat as well. Now the problem comes in where we don't have much room behind the third row seat once they are up in the upright position. Now you can remove the seats as well completely, so you can fold it down, and then there's a sequence that's, you know, showed right here on the diagram here, and the seats can be removed. I haven't tried it, but I've seen it done. So the seats are removable, and that's going to give you a little bit more space underneath for more cargo. Otherwise, you know, this is how it looks. And if you can see, each seat is controlled individually. So there's 3 separate seats. Most of the cars have the 60-40 split. This is, it looks like 33, 33, and 33. So there are even seats on all 3 of them. There's nothing else that's going on in here. There's a 12-volt power socket inside, and that's pretty much it. Let's move on to the interior. And here it is in the back seat. As you can see, each seat can be controlled individually, which is, a plus, especially if you have maybe two child seats and someone sitting in the middle. Also, what's important with a vehicle like this is completely flat floor. So the three passengers can be sitting in and be comfortable at the same time. We have the vents here in the back. We have the 12-volt power outlet and the temperature adjustments, or the fan adjustment I should say, right here, and then USB type A ports in the console. Now both seats have the seat back storage in here, and let me jump inside. Here's how much room I'll have. Now I have this seat adjusted to my regular driving position. I'm 6 feet tall, or almost 6 feet tall, and I can fit nice and comfortable underneath here. Now this wouldn't be much use to me, this table, kind of like an airplane table that you see, because I would be bumping it with my knees all the time. But if someone is shorter, that could definitely serve a purpose. Not a very sturdy one, because this can happen, but we can stow it away. I guess it's good if you want to put your lunch on it or something, or the kids want to do something. Illumination up here, and this is pretty much it. Now, one thing that I want to show you, or I'm going to attempt to get in the third row seat and see if I can even fit inside. See how uncomfortable it would be to get in the third row seat, and I can already see that it's going to be really tough, if not impossible, for me getting in there. So, whoa. Okay. The answer is no, thank you. There's no way that I'm going to be able to fit in here. It is probably the smallest third row seat that I've seen out of any vehicle, so only kids would be comfortable inside, and those are the smallest ones, or the small ones, or the little ones, or the 5-year-olds, I guess. And here's the interior of this vehicle. I get inside just fine, no issues here. It actually looks quite nice. It's a little bit different than what we used to in the United States, just because we don't have the brand. So everything is basically foreign. Everything is different that I'm used to. It took me a long time to get adjusted. I'm not quite adjusted to this infotainment system and the instrument panel, but let me grab the camera. I'll show you some details of it. So here it is. We have two screens, one for the instrument cluster, and of course the infotainment system. This is about 10-inch screen, and we have the tiniest steering wheel. Now this is really tiny. For me, it's actually good because I can see over it. So this is basically my point of view. I can see what's going on inside of here. But if someone likes to adjust the steering wheel and have it sit a little bit higher, or maybe they are lower, this is probably what they're going to be looking at, which means that this steering wheel, even though it's flat at the top, is going to be blocking their line of view. Now Peugeot right here in the middle, and then we have the volume adjustment. We also have the different menu options, and on the right hand side we have the list and sources. GT is right here at the bottom. Again, this is a flat steering wheel at the top and the bottom. Very nice. And then we have some adjustments. I'm not going to go over all of them because I don't know enough, but you can change the dials, driving, navigation, personal, minimum energy, and back to dials. Now what's nice about it, that right here in the middle, I think we just switch that to something else. Okay, so these are the dials, but I want to get this energy because this is for the hybrid. So you can see exactly where this coming, where the energy is coming from. So either from the battery or from the combustion engine, and this is right in front of you. Yes, I know there's a flat tire mark. I've filled it up a couple times. I guess it needs to be reset because it goes back, but the pressure is good in here. Now, as far as the infotainment system, this is one of the most confusing infotainment systems that I have seen. Not a very user-friendly, and definitely if you haven't taken a course in operating a Peugeot infotainment system, you're going to have some problems, navigating through this. Now, these are like the piano keyboard buttons. Okay, so this is for your media, this is for your temperature, this is your navigation system. We have a button that adjusts like the different safety features of the vehicle, and that all shows up in here. So we go navigation, going to go here, and then we'll also have a phone and the main menu, so connected apps, Android Auto, etc. By the way, it is wired as far as the Apple CarPlay. We couldn't get it to work wirelessly, so I guess this is a wired option in here. And then we have the hazard lights, volume control, and some buttons right here for the front window defogger, then air recirculating button, rear window defroster. Now, one thing to show you too is the rear view camera, and in order to do that I got to put it in reverse, and here's my sister standing there. But as you can see, we have the top down view, and this is quite nice too, because as you start driving you can see what's going on underneath this vehicle. So we have this transparent hood. Other than that, we have the trajectory lines that are active. Now, could the quality be better? Of course, but it's not. So that's the rear view camera. Now on the sides here, if you're wondering what this is, this is your temperature. This is in Celsius, of course, we're in Europe. This is the temperature controls. And then, you know, as far as the media, right now we have the Apple CarPlay that was selected in here, but there's different sources, so your radio, Bluetooth, USB, iPod, etc. Well, enough of the infotainment system. Right here underneath we have a bit of suede looking material, or kind of a combination of suede and fabric. This is softer to the touch. It's not soft, but it's more of a squishy material. This is hard plastic. And then right on top you see some of the ambient lighting peeking through it. So overall, not a bad design. I actually like this design a lot. And here's how you start the car. Drive modes, there's actually 2 drive modes on this. So we have Sport, Normal, and Eco, so 3 I guess. And then we have the switch, or the gear switch. This is your electronic gear switch right here. Put it in drive, put it in reverse, park, and a little bit of storage, electronic parking brake. So here it is, guys. I'm gonna put it in park, okay, and I'm gonna open the door. This is the most annoying sound in the world, and just reminds you to apply your parking brake. How crazy is that? Well, here, moving on, we have, this is the key. Now, kind of reminds me in US of a, I don't know, maybe a Ford key a little bit. The design of it is just like in the key fob. Basically, we have Peugeot on the side, and right here you have a bit more storage for whatever you can use it for. Up on top, we have the frameless mirror. I actually like this. This is kind of the old school, but it shows you of who is not wearing a seatbelt. So 2 people in the back, and I guess it doesn't have a sensor in the middle here. Well, maybe it does, but it's not showing this. Now we have the lights. So turn on the lights. You can also turn on the main lights, and right here is your rear view mirror. So this is the interior of this 2024 Peugeot 5008, and I might be pronouncing it wrong, but Peugeot, I'm not sure. But anyways, this is this vehicle right here that I rented in France. Now let's take it for a spin. And we're going to take it for a spin, but before we take it on the road, I'm going to check how good this vehicle turning radius is. Actually, I'm not going to check. I already checked it many times, probably one too many. But the streets here are so narrow that this vehicle could be a little bit too big, especially in the villages right here in the south of France. On the expressway, there's no issues, but once you get into the really tight spots, yes, your driving skills are going to be put to the test. And trust me, mine were a few times. I wish I had the camera to show it to you, especially when we visited Monaco and Monte Carlo, and going through the tunnels and having a million of scooters passing you by, basically forcing the right of way on you. It's really a unforgettable experience. Let's just leave it at that. But let's start right here with the turning radius, right here in this parking lot. See if I can make a full circle. And beautiful scenery right here. But yeah, it's actually very good, surprisingly good for what this vehicle is. We're gonna take it on the road and hopefully experience some of the driving habits of people in Europe, because it's definitely not the same as we used to in the United States. I mean, each country, different habits, I guess. Just be aware of this when you're driving. And this is actually a two-way street. This one is quite wide, but no visibility whether something or somebody is coming from the other direction. As you can see, it's interesting. And two people passing on the small passage like this. That's why a lot of European vehicles are so small. Some of them are half the size of it. I've seen some of them. Hopefully, if I get a chance, you're going to see a footage of a few of them right here, like the Citroens and some of the Renaults that are basically a one-person vehicles. It's like a motorcycle with the thing. I didn't realize this road is going to be just as narrow as the other one. Here you go, guys. This is a good example. We have a vehicle that's going the other direction, and yeah, this time we're lucky. So for the back roads here, yeah, just have to be really careful. But if you're local here and you drive like this, well, I gotta tell you, it takes skills and it takes some guts too, because some of the situations are not the safest, let's put it this way. But look at this view. Well, I can't because I'm driving, but you guys can, because now I don't have to hold the camera. And there's a view peeking, beautiful. See and hear this. This is Nice at the south of France. Very picturesque city, right on the Adriatic Sea. Here's the hustle and bustle of the city. Look at this, the 60s Mustang and the big Harley. And here you go. Going the opposite direction are the kamikazes. These are the guys that are on their scooters, have no sense of lane sharing. I mean, it's either their lane or no lane at all. So, I mean, it's really dangerous. But again, this is a beautiful city of Nice down below us. So there's going to be a good example. Somebody's coming right behind me, and I think if you can't pass on the right hand side, you can pass on the left, but here it is. Lane sharing in its finest. There's usually like 3 or 4 of them going at the same time, and this was a pretty wide street, so nothing too dangerous, but on those narrow streets they really drive like crazy. This is another thing. This is a 2-lane road. 1 lane is used for parking. The other one, well, you just hope that nobody's going to be coming up ahead of you or in the opposite direction. And this is basically a kind of driving that I'm going to be able to show you in this video. We're not going to do our regular, like the 0 to 60 or anything like this, just because there's really no place where I can spread it out, especially, well, at this time of the day where the city is actually starting to wake up and people are going to work. unless there's going to be a stretch of road on the promenade that we're going to be able to open it up. But 0 to 60 is, well, 0 to 100 kilometers, which is more than 60, I guess, just a little bit more. It's just about 10 seconds, so definitely a sluggish acceleration. But I didn't have a problem, even when we're going on the expressway, to merge in traffic. I didn't have a situation where I said, hey, I need more power than this. So it was adequate to the country, to the road conditions, and to the driving conditions of people. So not bad at all. So what do you think, guys? Would you like to see a vehicle like this brought into United States? I can already hear the complaints about the 1.2 liter engine and the power, 136 horsepower. It's not a lot, but it's enough to get this vehicle moving, and especially like on a day like this. I mean, we drove probably about 30-40 kilometers up the hill. I never felt like the power was not enough. I never had like a situation where I couldn't merge in traffic. I just had to wait a little bit longer in order to find a spot and get in there. But the power is adequate for the day-to-day driving. Would it be nice to have a better acceleration? I bet it would, but it would come at a cost. Right now, this vehicle gets over 40 miles to a gallon, which is ridiculously good. And if they put a bigger engine, that would sacrifice that part. And I know it's important for a lot of people, especially with the gas pricing being what it is right now. I have no idea if Stellantis has any ways whatsoever or any plans whatsoever to bring this vehicle to the United States. But if they were, would you consider buying it? Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something about the vehicle that we don't have in the United States. And if you did, give me a thumbs up. Consider following me, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.